What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is...
Your boy, Jake Bulls, on the mic. 1, 2.
And
you
as you guys can see, we have a little bit different setup. I do apologize in advance about the audio quality on this one. It probably won't be as good because I'm out of town right now. So I'm with my fiance. We're celebrating her birthday. So yeah, got to do what we got to do to make it work so we can get the videos out for you guys. The few people that do listen to these videos, we do appreciate you.
Yes.
But
happy birthday, Erica, by the way. I don't know when her birthday is.
Her birthday's
exactly,
on the 20th, so we're just out celebrating a little bit earlier.
All right, happy early birthday,
yeah,
though.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. Fucking gotta do... Oh, sorry. I already used one, but I think we can do one at a time. But
fuck it.
Yeah, we gotta. I know, who cares? But yeah, man, we haven't done a video with on a phone in a while, so
yeah, dude,
it's kind of back to the old ways.
Oh yeah, and for those of you guys who are just now starting to listen to us on YouTube, Jake and I have been doing podcasting on Spotify and other platforms for a little over a year now, and this is how we used to do it. We didn't have mics. We put a decent amount of money into the equipment, and we'd record through our phone, and I would just talk through this speaker through a little headphone set, but gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, let's get into football, Jake.
We've come a long way. We have come a long way,
but let's get into football, Jake.
Yes. Man, okay, I'm going to ask you this every week, Dane. How would you describe this week?
This is the second week of the NFL 2022 season, was definitely the week of the comeback. I mean, some of these games I thought were completely over, no shot in hell that these teams come back, and multiple teams did it. I think the three most impressive ones for me, number one had to have been probably Miami coming back against Baltimore. Number two would be the Jets coming back to beat the Cleveland Browns, because they only had a minute 55 left, down 13, and they somehow ended up doing it. That onside kick was a thing of beauty.
Insane.
And then not only that, the Cardinals and Raiders game, that one was also just phenomenal. I mean, the Cardinals were down 20-0 at one point, and then I think in the fourth quarter they outscored them like 17-3, something like that. So a lot of good games, a lot of good comebacks. It was definitely an interesting week, a lot of upsets again. So
there's a lot of upsets. There's been a lot of... I think this is the most upsets I've seen in the first 2 weeks of football since I can remember. Yeah, I mean, it is the week of the comeback, but I'm trying to describe this week in a different way, and I can't really think of it. But I want to ask you, because I have my opinion, but who is your most impressive win this week, and who is your most disappointing loss?
Oh, that's easy. For me, the most impressive is Miami. I mean, Tua threw for damn near 500 yards, 6 touchdowns this day. That's insane. That's incredible. That's an accomplishment for any quarterback. And let alone a quarterback who's been given a lot of flack, who's been criticized, critiqued a lot on his throwing motion, how he performs as a quarterback, not being able to throw the ball deep down the field. He looked good today. Tua looked good. He did have 2 interceptions. One of them I wouldn't really consider his fault. But, yeah, man, Miami for sure. And then the biggest dud, or the biggest, downer for me was Indianapolis. They got goose egg to frickin' Jacksonville. Matt Ryan threw, I think, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
He looked like dog shit.
We can get into it, but real quick, I mean, I don't know what's more impressive, Jacksonville, or I can't tell what's more impressive or disappointing, Jacksonville's win or Indianapolis' loss, or loss.
Jacksonville looked good. Their defense looks really good. Their defense
looks legit. Trevor Lawrence looked like, who we all thought he should be. Christian Kirk looks like he was worth all that money. Travis Etienne, man, he freaking James Robinson, dude. I mean, we'll get into it later, but it was an impressive win. I was shocked, man. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. This is the week of all the bottom of the league teams win.
dude.
The Lions won. The Jets won.
I was so happy
The
for the Lions to win. I mean, the Lions are a fun and exciting team this year. Their offense is good,
yeah.
man. Like Jared Goff looked like a good top 10
Yeah.
quarterback today, you know. DeAndre Swift looked amazing. The Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude. He is one of the next up and coming star wide receivers. That guy's a beast. He's got to do it for the short
Yeah, I
teams out
mean,
there.
he's definitely good. I just worry about his frame, how long he can last. But let's get into the first matchup, Thursday night. We had your boys, the Chiefs, or your boys, the Chargers, traveling to
Right.
the Chiefs, and I'll just start it off, and I'll let you finish.
Go for
But
it.
what a great game! What a gutsy performance by Justin Herbert, man. If you don't already like Justin Herbert, or trying to figure out a team or a quarterback to like just root for Justin Herbert, man. Like, this guy has it all. Like, he's got the looks, he's got the talent, and he's got the freaking balls, man. Like, I just love watching this guy play. And when he got hurt, when he got hurt, I was like, oh my God, like, no way. Because I have him on one of my fantasy teams. But and the person, like, you don't want that for
Right.
anybody. I mean, we'll talk about another tragic injury,
Yeah.
but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one more in depth. But man, he just came down and he started. He still played through it. I mean, he had, I think, broken cartilage ribs or whatever.
Yeah, he fractured
I don't
the
know if I
cartilage.
said that correctly.
Yeah, he fractured the cartilage around his ribs.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could fracture cartilage. I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's got that dog in him, which is one thing that I
Yeah,
respect.
he's a dog.
He pushed through the pain, and you could clearly see that he was in a
Mm-hmm.
tremendous amount of pain.
Yeah, he's 100% a dog, and I'm here for it. I will say this: that Chargers defense has stepped up, even though they lost the game.
Yeah.
They held Patrick Mahomes to under 100 yards in the first half. Like, that's very hard to do. It was just a good game on both sides until an unfortunate pick six by Justin Herbert. That was really the only turning of the tides in that game. Other than that, it was neck and neck the entire time. But I think it was a great game. Both sides played fantastic. And the Chiefs are who we thought they were. So I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, so my biggest takeaway from this game is, like you already stated, the Chargers defense did look really good. I mean, the only time the Chiefs ever really capitalized and scored was when the Chargers kind of gave them that opportunity. I mean, we dropped 3 interceptions. We had it, so there were 2 interceptions that got called back because of penalties. One of them I was okay with because it was definitely pass interference. The other one was a BS call where who got pushed off?
I'd have to look it again.
I think it was Nazir.
I always like to debate you on
I
this.
sent it to you on Instagram on your phone because I sent the play to you because I was like, dude, what is this? It was clearly offensive pass interference, but we got an illegal contact penalty, which took away the other interception. And then Asante Samuel Jr. I mean, he played great. Like, his defense was great, but he dropped an easy pick six right there. Like, he could have taken that to the house. And I feel like that's when it started really turning, is when we gave them the opportunities that they needed. Because we could have taken the ball away twice in this game.
Yeah.
The other thing that I will say is, we were struggling with multiple injuries this game. First of all, we lost Corey Linsley, our starting center, after halftime. Then Trey Pipkins goes out with an ankle injury. And then you also already had Keenan Allen out, and Justin Herbert gets injured. And I wasn't really too fond of the play calling by Joe Lombardi in this game, to be perfectly honest. I hate the dink and dunk pass when you have Justin Herbert, who can launch the ball 60, 70 yards. They need to utilize Jalen Guyton more. He's our only speedy wide receiver. I know DeAndre Carter's a little bit quicker, but I don't know. I feel like there were some questionable play calls in this game. Brandon Staley didn't go for it as much on 4th down, which I felt like he should have on a couple of them because he was in Chiefs territory. Overall, it was a short turnaround. It was Thursday after playing on Sunday. I get that you have to travel, so you get one less day. There were just some questionable things about this game.
Hey Dan, raise your camera up. The people can't see you. I just realized that. You're like half your face.
Can you see me now?
All right, there you go. Yeah, much better. Yeah, I mean, it was an unfortunate loss for the Chargers, but I guarantee you the Chargers will beat the Chiefs in their home. I'm guaranteeing it. You heard it here, folks. Like they're gonna trade. They're definitely gonna trade. It was such a good game to start the week. Man, Thursday night. Okay, I'll say this. Usually, I'm not a big fan of Thursday night games, but these first two Thursday night games have been
they've been good for sure.
Like they've been excellent. So hopefully we can keep it up. I don't know though, because next week we got the Steelers and Browns. It could be a defensive battle, or it could be a Trubisky Brissett, Jacoby Brissett duel. So we'll see. But let's get into the first of the Sunday night games.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about first one on the list. So we got Miami beating Baltimore 42-38.
This was easily one of the most exciting games of the week. This game was awesome,
dude. Okay. Well, let's talk about the Ravens first.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, man, he's incredible.
Yeah, dude.
He is absolutely incredible. Like, I mean, he was slinging it too. Like, he wasn't just running.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have a 72-yard run, but I mean, let's see how many yards did he throw for? 318 yards, three touchdowns,
no interceptions, right?
And then 119 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
Lamar Jackson was great, and the crappy thing about this game is his defense let him down. I mean,
yeah,
Tua, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek literally carved this defense up. Jalen Waddle had a fantastic game. Even Gesicki had a good game.
Jalen Waddle's that dude. I like Jalen Waddle. I liked him last year, but I like him even more now.
Oh, yeah, dude. I hated him at Alabama because he went to Alabama, but, in the NFL, he's a good wide receiver.
Yeah. I think he's my favorite Alabama wide receiver out of the last couple of drafts that's in the NFL right now. But, yeah, I mean, the defense let them down. Like, they were up 35.
They were up 21
14,
they were up
I think.
21 points heading into the fourth quarter, and then two in the boys and 6 touchdowns. That's impressive. That is very impressive to throw 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, 469 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Insane, dude. Like, that's just absolutely madness. Like, this is like every fantasy player's dream come true. If you started Tua, kudos to you.
Yeah, good for you, Josh.
Mother effer got 172 points. We are in a 2-quarterback league, everyone, so don't go crazy on us. But yeah, no, this was a fantastic game. If you didn't watch this or if you didn't see any highlights, go back and watch it because
it's worth it.
It was an insane game. But I mean, that's really all I have to say about it.
I didn't go. I like both these teams, by the way. I think Baltimore still played well. They're going to be fine as long as they stay healthy this year. Coaching's good. Their team's good. They have a solid offense. Defense will definitely need to pick it up a little bit, but we'll see. I think Baltimore's going to be fine. Just Miami looks good. Miami looks good this year. So
are we on the Tua hype train, or are we still waiting a little bit?
The brakes. I think maybe he did need a Tyreek Hill type player to really open things up for him. I liked him out of Alabama. I think he was good. I think that he still has some physical limitations that other quarterbacks may not. But, he is a smart quarterback. He is accurate. He'll still have a couple balls here and there that you kind of question. But Tua looked good, man.
Just ducks.
Yeah.
Just straight ducks throwing into the floor.
Yeah, Tua looked good, though. I mean, props to Tua, props to Miami. They look like a serious contender this year for a playoff spot. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're the second best team in the AFC East.
Yeah. Yeah.
As of now. I'm still not convinced on the Patriots, even though they won.
I'm not
But we'll get into it. All right, next game, we have another freaking awesome comeback. The New York Jets beat the Cleveland Browns 31-30. Dude, this game, I mean, it was close the entire time. I mean,
I think it was,
as far as I remember, it was close. the entire time.
Yeah, I think it was
17-17 at one point,
17,
right?
17 heading into the fourth. It was like later in the third, maybe the
Mm-hmm.
fourth. I could be mistaken, but that's what I remember it as.
Yeah. Nick Chubb should have gone in the end zone. Apparently, he kneeled right before going in the end zone. They would have won the game if, most likely, they would have won the game
Yeah.
if he went in the end zone. So, always score. Always score, I think. I mean, most, like 9 times out of 10, I think you should score. So that's unfortunate. Sorry, something just started playing loud as heck.
No, you're good, man.
No, yeah, always score if you get the chance. You never know when you're going to get another chance to score. But I didn't think the Browns would win a lot of games just behind that run game. But they still. I mean, even though they lost, they still look good.
Yeah.
Brissett is a problem though.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're definitely limited to Brissett.
But
and
Nick
then
Chubb
the Jets,
and
man.
Kareem Hunt can carry that team for sure. Their defense is good, but Joe Flacco, man, what the hell? Is he taking like a personal vendetta against the Browns for some reason? I mean, he looked good, dude. He threw for over 300 yards. Corey Davis looked good. Breece Hall had a pretty good game today. Garrett Wilson
Got his first touchdown.
Dude, Garrett Wilson looked like
Dude.
why he was drafted as one of the top wide receivers this year. I think he had 2 touchdowns. And then
Dude.
Michael Carter was utilized correctly. It was a good offensive performance by the New York Jets, absolutely.
Yeah, two of the young rookie wide receivers in this year's draft had good games. We'll get to the other one later, but yeah, it was just I can't believe they came back. It was pretty shocking. They got that onside kick, and you know what? Good for the Jets. Those green uniforms have grown on me. I now that I look at them, I think I like them more than the old ones.
For me, the Jets helmets, dude, that shade of green is just awesome.
Yeah, I like the helmets too. So, are the Jets better with Flacco, or are they better with Zach Wilson?
Oh shoot, man, that's actually tough
because
I think Garrett.
We're gonna have this same. I'm gonna ask you the same question about the 49ers. So I want to know your opinion about this.
Okay, I would say that you have a higher ceiling with
Zach Wilson.
I was going to say Garrett Wilson. I think you have a higher ceiling with Zach Wilson, but a much lower floor because he is still a young quarterback, and he's still throwing interceptions consistently. I mean, it's unfortunate that he's injured, so he's not even getting the playing time right now. Joe Flacco's been in the league for however many years he's been in. He's a veteran quarterback. He's seasoned. He's seen a lot of the defenses. He knows how to audible out of things. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl, so it's not like he's a chump. Like, he's not just one of the worst quarterbacks. I wouldn't put his ceiling very high, though. I mean, he has limitations. He's older. He's not as mobile. But I would say that he has a much higher floor. So, like, the baseline, like, worst performance you're going to get will be more consistent. It'll be better consistently than Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson can just have really terrible games.
Yeah, I think if the Jets want to win 6 games this year, stay with Flacco. But if they want to, develop, which they're going to, but it's just an interesting conversation because the Jets didn't look. No, they looked terrible last week. Never mind. But even when he played last year, they won games with Flacco, or at least their offense was able to move. That's just an interesting topic that we can talk about, and I'll bring it up later in this segment. But let's get on to the next game.
Let's do it.
But congratulations, Jets. That was a
hell of a win. I'm happy for Saleh, man. That was a good win.
Mm-hmm. Same. All right, this game, I'm not impressed by any of these teams. We got the New England Patriots beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-14. Yeah, they won, but the Steelers could have won this game. I think it's just, off their quarterback. Trubisky's not the answer, not the long-term answer. Maybe as far as, veteran presence on that team, probably better than Kenny Pickett. But, eventually they're going to get tired of Trubisky's, BS, and they're going to make the change. But I mean, what did you think of this game? Like, I don't really have too much to say. I just think both of these teams are mediocre.
For me,
I think the defense of the Steelers is still good.
Yeah, I definitely think that they were missing T.J. Watt out there. But, Mika Fitzpatrick looked great on the defense. I think he had another interception this game, if I'm not mistaken. And,
yes,
my biggest takeaway from this game is, like you said, they're kind of, I don't know, I would say they're like 500 teams. Like, I think they could finish with an even record. I'm not too impressed with either of them. I think Nelson Aguilar had a pretty good game for New England as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Mac Jones was out there. I thought he was going to miss this game from the report that I saw on his back or whatever. So good for him for being out there. Other than that, man, there weren't too many takeaways. It was pretty much defense for most of it. It wasn't a very high-scoring game. But, Bill Belichick, I think, took advantage of the fact that T.J. Watt wasn't out there. So, Nelson Aguilar had a good game. And that's pretty much, I mean, Damian Harris had a good game as well, but I thought that they would have utilized Ramondre Stevenson a little bit more. They just kind of haven't been utilizing him as much as I thought, but, it was a good win for the Patriots. They had a dud of a game against Miami, but I think that just also speaks to how good Miami actually is this year, because they also beat Baltimore, who's also a really good team. So maybe Miami's
That's exactly...
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly why I think the Dolphins are the second best team in that division. I mean, even last year, I think the Patriots were mediocre, and it showed in the playoffs. These team, like you said, this team is a 500 team, and they'll probably both sneak into playoffs somehow. The Steelers did it last year, the Patriots did it last year, and they both got annihilated in their one playoff game. They're not elite by any means. They are coached very well. I will say that they have two of the greatest coaches of our time. I love Mike Tomlin. Not a big fan of Bill Belichick. He's just but he's a good coach. Let's not get it wrong, let's not get it twisted. But I mean, they're just mediocre teams. I just think they don't have. Well, one, they don't have quarterbacks that they don't have that Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert,
right?
That elite quarterback that can take them to the next level. I think if they both got that kind of quarterback, they would be dangerous.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just have question marks about Pittsburgh's offensive line also. I mean, they're not the best blockers in the run or pass game. Najee Harris, he makes the most out of what he gets, and unfortunately it's not that much. But like you said, Trubisky's not the long-term answer. I think that while they're developing Pickett, I think Kenny Pickett gets the start at some point this season, though, especially if Mitch Trubisky keeps throwing interceptions, like we all kind of expected. It's kind of his trait. He throws interceptions. He'll make good plays here and there, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. 168 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 73 passer rating. Excellent. All right, I don't want to talk about this game anymore. This next game, I'm not going to talk about really at all.
Let me guess.
I'm just going to.
Let me guess. The New York Giants game.
Oh, no, that's actually, I like that. I enjoyed watching the highlights on that one, or at least on Red Zone. No, this Colts-Jaguars. Colts got a goose egg against two times in a row they've lost to the Jags. This was absolute pathetic showing by the Colts.
Matt Ryan looks terrible, man. 3 interceptions. Dude, he lobs balls. The offensive line of Indianapolis, I don't know what's going on, but Matt Ryan's getting pressured left and right. I mean,
I'll say this: they were without Michael Pittman, but still, I mean, you got to do something. It's
Jonathan Taylor didn't even get Colts, that much going today. I mean,
he had 54 yards rushing.
Yeah,
54 yards rushing. That's pathetic.
But
man.
Maybe that just shows how good the Jags defense is. I mean, Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, they're looking like a good duo on that defensive line.
Well, I mean, their defensive line reminds me of the 49ers back in 2019. 49ers and the Jags have been going D-line, D-line, D-line for like the last several drafts. And eventually, you know, when you have that much draft capital on the D line, you're going to have something. So, you know, it makes sense why they're finally, you know, clicking together. But even Trevor Lawrence, man, he looked great. Like I said earlier, Christian Kirk looked great. Travis Etienne, James Robinson. Kudos to the Jags.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no issues with this.
I'm happy for Jags and Jag fans because Doug Peterson actually seems like he's helping this organization.
Competent?
Yeah, they're a competent team. You know, they're a competitive team. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be... I think that they may have a chance for, like, a 7th spot wildcard team, possibly. That's, like, best case scenario in my opinion. Maybe my opinion on that will change as the season goes on. But I think, realistically, this is, like, a 6-7 win team.
Dane.
What's up?
Don't get carried away. A 7 seed playoff team. The AFC is way too
That's why I said
freaking stacked.
That's why I said best case scenario, and I said realistically they're a 6 or 7 win team. But I think Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's helping this organization out for sure.
Oh, 100%. Like he is black and white compared to Urban Meyer. But no, I mean I think it's funny that all these bottom of the barrel teams, they're the Lions, the Jags, the Texans, we're gonna talk about them later. They're all gonna fight you. They're not just gonna I don't think any of these teams are gonna be a automatic win. I mean, that's obvious, like no game is ever an automatic win. But usually like at least for like pick'ems, you know, you might want to think a little twice or think a little bit longer. Because I mean, like for example, like this was like I think my 13 ranked pick'ems out of my pick'ems league, and I lost it. So I did terrible in my pool. So yeah, thank you Jaguars and Colts.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Week 2 of the NFL was fun to watch, but it was also one of the worst weeks because Chargers lost.
It made us look like idiots.
Yeah, it made us look like idiots. Chargers lose. Justin Herbert may miss some time. I lose my Pick'ems league, and I'm getting destroyed by you in fantasy. I already know it. Because Matt Ryan puts up 4 points for me in fantasy, man. What the hell? Aaron Jones got 30 points
guys.
for me.
Yeah. And you're only up by 4.
Yeah, it's so bad.
So yeah, real quick, me and Dane are facing each other. I haven't beaten Dane in like the last 2 matchups, so I'm pretty excited. Hopefully, my 3 players that I have left don't just completely shit the bed and get me 3 points together.
Could you imagine Josh Allen just has a dud of a game out of nowhere, and then Ryan Tannehill just torches Buffalo's defense? It would be the most I mean, it's not realistic, but it would be the most I don't know, fantasy thing to happen to you, because I feel like you get some bad luck when you play me.
I get bad in our league. I get bad luck. I've been like the top 2 scorer, and I have not made the playoffs the last 2 seasons in our league. So yes, I do have very unlucky luck. Yeah, I mean, good job, Jags. Good job, Jags. It was a dominant win. It was dominant.
Yep, it was dominant.
There's no other way to say it. I think it was the most dominant win.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was the only game where someone got goose egged, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think anyone else got 0 points.
Yeah, it was. All right, this next game was pretty exciting. I mean, it was kind of like a dump show, but it was exciting because it was 2 kind of lesser teams going at it. But we had the New York Giants beating the Panthers 19-16. Giants, man.
2-0.
I think. Yeah, I mean, there's times where it doesn't look pretty for them, but they're just fighting, man. They're getting scrappy. Yep. They're getting scrappy. All these bottom tier teams are getting scrappy. I like it. They're gonna put up a fight. Saquon Barkley, he looks good. Daniel Jones looks good at times. I mean, he's always looked good at times. But I don't know what it is. I don't know. They just keep winning. I mean, it's only 2 games. It's the first 2 games of the season. But good for them. I don't have that much to say. What do you got? Anything to say about this?
To be honest, this is one of the games that I did not see. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to watch this game since I was driving for a good portion of the day today. Um, yeah, so I would give my opinion. I mean, I looked at a little bit of the stat sheet, so it didn't seem like this was a very impressive game for the quarterbacks. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Baker Mayfield only threw for like 120 yards or something like that, something really low.
100, 145.
145 and like what, one touchdown?
Yeah, one touchdown to DJ Moore,
Okay.
who had 43 yards receiving. So.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
seems like it was probably more of a defensive game. I mean, you said you saw the highlights, right? Or watched some of the game on Red
Yeah,
Zone?
I saw what, or I mean, I saw what they showed on Red Zone. The defense of the Panthers got after it. They had a chance to win. Just the Giants pulled away at the end and got a last-minute field goal. Yeah, it was like another close game for the Giants. But other than that, I got nothing to say. Good win for the Giants.
2-0. 2-0 looks
yeah,
good.
2-0, baby. 2-0, baby.
Take a win however you can get it.
All right, this game I did watch all the way through. Unfortunately, it was the only game on streaming services. Fox Sports, you suck. But Buccaneers beat the Saints 20-10.
Oh man,
And
the Saints just know how to piss Tom Brady off. Slamming tablets 2 years in a row, huh?
Yeah, yeah. If you like defensive games, this was the game for you. It was an insane defensive battle for the first 3 quarters, I think, if I remember correctly. There wasn't a touchdown scored until the last quarter. Brashad Perryman, of all people. Unfortunately, I had Mike Evans in one of my leagues, and he got ejected because there was a giant brawl. It's like deja vu. I think the last 3 times the Saints have played, Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans have fought each other, and they fought each other today, Sunday. Excuse me. And it was a huge brawl. Both got ejected. And then, seemingly the Bucks could actually move the ball without him. So, whatever. Field goals. And then, Jameis Winston wasn't that bad until like the end where he threw like 3 picks. Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't keep that up.
See, I guess that eye surgery actually didn't happen. Maybe he's still got the retinal problems. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's colorblind. Maybe he just doesn't know how to tell his teams apart because, clearly he just likes throwing to the other team.
Yeah.
So what I would say is Tampa Bay's defense is legit. I mean, they look good.
Oh,
they
yeah.
look good in the first 2 weeks. Like, Tampa Bay's defense is really good.
They kept them in this game. If they didn't have such a good defense, it would have been, they would have gotten steamrolled.
Right.
Because I don't even know how many yards they had in the first half, but it was 3-3 at the end of the half. Like, geez Louise.
Are you Are you a little concerned with how productive the offense of Tampa Bay has been, though? Because, against Dallas, I think they only threw or scored 1 touchdown. The rest was field goals. And then today, like, I just haven't seen the production from T. Brady, the GOAT, man. I feel like something's a little off.
I'll say this. He doesn't seem the same to me. Brady's always had that, like, fiery look. He always, like, in the game. He just looks tired, honestly.
He just looks dejected.
He looks tired.
Like, he just looks like he doesn't want to be there, like he just got kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe he's having, like, too much personal relationship stuff going on in his life that's kind of affecting him. But yeah, it just looks different.
It could very well be that, but he looks like he's done, man. Like, he doesn't look like he's having fun. And I don't know how much longer is on his contract. He's only on like a year-to-year contract.
I'm not sure, but I'm almost positive this will be his last year. It should be, man. Like, at this point, if you don't win a Super Bowl this year, I would just call it quits.
And I don't think they will win a Super Bowl. I don't know how people are picking them to win a Super Bowl. I don't think – they're injured. Their offensive line is not that great. Their defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't see them going far in the playoffs. And that's not, I'm trying not to be like, always going against Brady. Like, when is it his year that he finally, falters? But it's just hard. These last two games have not been high offensive outputs.
Oh, yeah, their defense is what's really been carrying them the last two games. I mean, it is the first two games. Maybe they bounce back, but yeah, I mean, they got the dub. They got the win, so sometimes you just got to do it through your
win
defense.
Is a win.
Yep, a win's a win.
And you know what? The Saints have a really good defense too, so I guess we can give them some credit. The Cowboys have a really good defense, as they showed today.
Yeah.
But so they played two really good defenses. I would say like top 10 defenses. So let's give them a little leeway, I guess. So I don't know who they're playing next week, but I think they're playing the Packers next week. So we'll see. Let's go on to the next game. This was a really good one. We had the Lions beating the Commanders 36-27.
This was a fun one. I mean, at first, I started to think that maybe the Commanders were going to make a comeback in this one. But yeah, it was a snooze fest because it was completely lopsided. I mean, Detroit was manhandling the Commanders at first.
It was 23-0 at one point.
It was
I
bad.
believe.
But,
yeah.
Jahan Dotson looks good. Curtis Samuel looks good. Antonio Gibson looks good. Carson Wentz doesn't look that bad. I mean, he's not elite by any means, but he's getting the job done, I think. He's doing enough to win games. The defense, however, I don't know what happened. They got shredded. Mm-hmm. They got shredded today. Jared Goff was throwing all over them. DeAndre Swift was running all over them. It was, dude, the Detroit Lions have a good offense this year. I think their offense is legit.
I don't know if it's legit. I think it's scrappy. I like Amon-Ra. I have a hard time. Saying he's elite just yet. Like he had the end of last season. Yeah, he's a good little wide receiver. He's not like, I don't know.
I think he's up and coming.
Megatron or Mike Evans.
No.
But he's good.
I think he's up and coming though. He's only in his second year, and the dude's got a chip on his shoulder, like big time. Mm-hmm. He's very good. He listed all the players drafted before him, and he remembered the round and all that stuff. So he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and you can tell he's playing passionately, man. He loves the game of football. It seems like he loves what he does. And, dude, he's got that fire that some players just don't have. So I like watching him. I like watching the Detroit Lions, bro. They play with balls. They play with aggression. They're going to hit you in the mouth.
Yeah. I enjoy the Lions, too. A lot. Probably more than, the last couple of years of Stafford, I really didn't enjoy watching them. But I like them. I like the coach. I haven't liked the head coach there since Jim Shorts was there. I only liked him for a couple games because of the fight with him and Jim Harbaugh. But they do have an elite running back though, DeAndre Swift. He's an animal. And then Aiden Hutchinson, he had a game. I think he had 2 sacks.
I think he did have 2 sacks and a couple tackles for losses, if I'm not mistaken.
3 sacks. Sheesh.
Yeah, man.
3 sacks, 5 solo, and 6 total tackles.
Yeah,
Jeez Louise,
he's showing why he was he should have been the number 1 pick in my opinion. But Trayvon Walker's also looking good. But Aiden Hutchinson, he's a good edge rusher. He's good.
Yeah. Last thing, it was a snooze fest, but the Commanders almost came back. Yeah. And
thought it was going to be
made it interesting at the end, but the Lions pulled out with the win. So good job, Detroit. Hard fought battle. This next game, the biggest takeaway from this game is an injury, which is sad. But the 49ers dominated the Seattle Seahawks 27-7. I think Dre was in there for 2 drives. They went down, drove the ball like it was nothing, got a field goal, and then they drove down again, got another field goal, Okay, I think it was the third drive. And unfortunately, Trey Lance, ran up the middle option, took it up the middle, broke his freaking ankle. And I thought at first it looked like he had a concussion. So I was like, okay, this sucks. He's going to be out the game. But, you can come back from a concussion, at least in the season. And then I saw his ankle, and I'm like, oh,
that thing
my
was destroyed,
goodness.
bro. You could see
this
the
is
bone.
gruesome.
I mean, you couldn't see the bone like on the TV, but you could see that it was displaced. Like his bone was like poking.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a nasty, gruesome injury, and it's very unfortunate because everyone's knock on Trey Lance is that he hasn't had enough experience to get all the reps, learn the NFL, be who, people think he can be. And now he's going to be out for another year. Yeah. And now he's going to be another year behind. And it's just, I don't know what the future holds for him, honestly, at this point, because I mean, I know he can come back for sure. Like, I'm not writing him off just yet. Like, I've seen the guy play 3 games. And honestly, in the last 2 games that I've seen him play, it wasn't terrible. Like, it wasn't, out of this world, but it wasn't terrible. So I'm not going to write the guy off yet. But you know what? Thankfully, the 49ers signed Jimmy Garoppolo, our last year's quarterback. And it's unfortunate that it came to this, but look, we're at the same spot we were, plus some additions to that defense, and that defense, just like Tampa Bay, is elite.
Oh yeah,
like that defense is elite. I'm not even going to toot. I'm not even going to toot my team's own horn, but they're elite.
I would say San Francisco probably has the best, if not top 5 defense in the NFL. Like they're easily top 5. Their defense is legit. That defensive line, Javon Kinlaw, is looking great. Nick Bosa, obviously,
I'm happy for him. Got that 2-piece today.
Yeah, their defense is good.
Yeah, they dominated the Seahawks. I can't even talk about the Seahawks because their one and only play was a blocked field goal for a scoop and score. So you know what? Good job. But it's such a bittersweet victory. So I'll ask you this because I asked about.
I think they're better off with Jimmy G.
Right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yes, I do too. I believe that too. I think, like, for the games that we thought, like the close games, like for example, we play the Broncos next week. A lot of people would probably pick the Broncos, right? But now that Jimmy's there, taking the reins of the team. Taking back the reins of the team, I think it would be much more of an even game. Or later on in the game, or later on in the season when we play the Chiefs or the Chargers, it's going to be a lot closer than I think it would have been with Trey, unfortunately. It's just such a hard situation. And I don't know where they go. I mean, I'm going to focus on this year. Let's all just focus on this year, see how far we can get this year. But this offseason is going to be insane. If we thought the 49ers offseason was insane last year, you haven't seen anything, because now we're going to have to figure out if Trey comes back, what are we going to do? Are we going to sign Jimmy to a 1-year contract? Is he even going to do that? I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting to see the direction that the 49ers go.
Yeah.
I still think Trey Lance will be the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, that he may have a shorter time frame to do it in to prove that he is the franchise quarterback, because you sat him the first year. He gets injured the second year. Now he's going into year 3, but he's still technically going to be almost a rookie quarterback. Because he's, like you said, you've seen him play in 3 games. And only one of them he's been like the official starter who was supposed to be starting for the entire season. And it's unfortunate, man. It really is. I mean, the good news is, like you already said, Jimmy G's going to carry this team because he knows the offense. Shanahan, he knows the scheme. I think the defense is going to carry this team through a lot of games also. Like, the offense is going to piggyback off of the defense in certain situations. But then again, you also have Deebo Samuel, you have Brandon Ayuk. If they can get the offensive line to work cohesively, like throughout the entirety of the season, the offense will be just as good. Like, this offense has potential to be a really freaking good offense as well.
I think besides a few run plays, I think the offensive line much improved from last week, this game. But, it's the Seattle Seahawks, so they did get that awesome win against the Broncos, but still the Seahawks. Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. They're just lucky that Jimmy Garoppolo's re-signed, because if we would have had Nate Sudfeld or Brock Purdy, season would have been over. Or at least the defense would have really had to carry this team. So, yeah. But you know what, Trey, I hope your surgery goes good, and I hope you come back with a vengeance. So, on to the next. Such a bitter, I can't even, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's such a good win, but because it's against Seattle, but it's such a, it's a shitty feeling. But let's move on. All right, this one was pretty interesting. The Rams beat the Falcons 31-27.
This one wasn't exciting at first at all.
Yeah, it wasn't exciting until the last couple minutes. The Rams were dominating the Falcons. Yep. Dominating. There was nothing to hang your hat on if you're a Falcons fan. And then a couple of touchdowns here and there, and then I think it was a blocked punter, or what was it? Do you remember?
I do not remember, to be honest. I know that Stafford threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Which kind of,
let me ask you: does Stafford have a interception problem?
Yeah, he does. I mean, I feel like he's always
he does too,
because he wants to try and do things that most quarterbacks aren't willing to take the risk for. I'll give Stafford this: he's got balls. He wants to try and make throws that, it's high risk, high reward situations. If he can pull it off, it's going to be a great fucking play. But if he doesn't, then it's going to bite him in the butt, which is what's been happening. I mean, he's already thrown, I think, 5 interceptions so far in the first 2 games of the season.
Did he throw 3 last Thursday?
I want to say he did. I want to say he threw 3.
I'll look it up real quick.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, Stafford still makes really good plays. Cooper Kupp looked good. Allen Robinson was more involved. The offense looked a lot better. The defense stepped up when they needed to. I mean, obviously, Jalen Ramsey puts this game on ice by... That interception by Jalen Ramsey was freaking phenomenal. That was a great interception. Looked way better than he did against Buffalo. But, I think Atlanta showed some grit, man. Drake London looked good. Marcus Mariota was making plays.
He was... Yeah, he... Actually, 3 of the rookie wide receivers. Him, Wilson, and Olave. Well, Olave had probably one of the plays that put the game in hand for... did you see that?
I did not.
Him and Jameis were... Sorry to go back to the other game, guys, but him and Jameis were going at it, throwing the deep ball, just all game, just trying to get it. They were, this close every time, and then they finally got it in the fourth quarter. He takes his 2 steps. Nobody touches him. He falls to the ground, and he fumbles from the ground.
Man.
And then the Bucks pick it up and take it back, and the rest is history. But, yeah, all 3 of those wide receivers balled out. But, yeah, I mean,
Atlanta,
I don't know, the Rams.
I want to say this really quick. Atlanta's defense is surprising me. I didn't think that they were going to be making as many splash plays as they have. I mean, they've been getting sacks, they've been getting interceptions. Defense isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be one of the bottom tier defenses in the league. I mean, they still gave up a decent amount of points today, but it's from a high caliber offense. The Rams do have a high caliber offense. But yeah, I think Atlanta is surprising me because they could have easily just given up, but they tried coming back and they almost did it. So even though they're not doing well so far at the start of the season, I think that they'll win some games. I think that they'll be a scrappy team, so they can pull off some upsets.
I'm pleasantly surprised with Mariota too. Like he doesn't look like Mariota. Why can't I say his name? Mariota of old. Like he actually looks like a competent quarterback out there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Kyle Pitts needs to get some more receptions, but we'll talk about that later, Mariota. But it was a good, I would have liked a more dominant win for the Rams.
Me too.
Personally, I just don't. These last two games, I know it was against one of our top ranked teams, but I mean, I think they should have dominated. I mean, they were, but then they let them come back. So to me, that's not dominance, and that's kind of these next two games. I have, even though these next two teams won, I almost feel like they lost. This next game is the Texans and the Broncos. The Broncos beat them 16-9.
Dude,
real
the
quick.
Broncos
Real quick.
boring.
Were we wrong about the Broncos?
Dude,
Were we all wrong about them?
Dude, Russell Wilson does not look that great.
He looks terrible, dude. He looks absolutely terrible.
I mean,
the
only thing
17 for 31.
Yeah.
17 for 31, 219 yards, a touchdown, and one interception.
Yeah, dude, I don't know if it's because the Texans have a better defense than we were giving them credit for. I mean, Cortland Sutton had a pretty decent game. I'll give him that. But this offense seems like it's going to be piggybacking off of the running attack with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. I mean, Russell Wilson looks like he's still struggling from how he did his last season after his hand or his finger injury.
Yeah.
He's lucky that he's got a really good defense because Denver's defense is still really freaking good. But I feel like Russell Wilson was so used to Pete Carroll's offense where it would rely on the offense more than the passing game. And so maybe people misinterpreted how good or effective Russell Wilson can still be. I don't know. It could just be too early to tell. I'm sure he'll have some games where he looks freaking phenomenal. Passes for like 300-something yards, 3-4 touchdowns, whatever. I'm sure it'll happen. But as of right now, I'm not impressed with Denver at all.
I am not either. We're going to be doing our power rankings episode tomorrow, and if they didn't, so if they lost, if the Broncos and this next team that we're going to talk about lost, I would be dropping them to almost like my bottom 15 teams because they have looked the Broncos have looked absolutely atrocious to me in these last two games.
They have.
There's nothing about this team's like that right now that says, oh, they're going to win a Super Bowl. Nothing.
Agreed.
Like their defense has made plays, yes, but they're lucky they got this win because we would be talking a lot more negatively about the Broncos if they didn't get this win, but they're lucky.
I am impressed with the Texans defense.
I don't even know what this.
The Texans defense.
Let's.
They've been playing good the first two games of the season. Texans defense looks legit.
Let's give them props. Let's give them props because they've lost these last two games they're what? 1-1. Yeah. So they tied the last game. But they have battled these last two playoff teams. These last two games, and they've fought them hard. I like the Texans. Again, another bottom tier squad
team
that is scrappy. I like it. And now this one, we got the Arizona Cardinals winning in overtime against the Las Vegas Raiders, 29-23.
This game literally went from being one of the most unwatchable games to being like one of the most exciting games I've watched over the first 2 weeks. Because it's like the Cardinals looked abysmal offensively in the first half.
Terrible.
Like, they could not do anything. Kyler Murray threw an interception that was like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, It just didn't look good.
Dude.
He was getting sacked. They couldn't get the running game going. The passing attack wasn't there. You know, the Raiders' offense was torching them. Josh Jacobs was running on them. Devontae Adams, Collins, Waller. Everyone was getting going on the Raiders side, and even Erica. You know, we were watching the game. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't even watch this game." And then, you know, halftime happens, and then they come back, and you know, they get a touchdown. Okay, they get a defensive stop. Okay, now things are happening. Okay, now it's a little bit exciting. And then Kyler Murray had one of the most exciting two-point conversions I've ever seen. 20 seconds on the field, runs for over 85 yards just to score a two-point conversion. I mean,
Yeah.
they made plays when they needed to. It was very boring in the first half. Second half was exciting. And Isaiah Simmons seals the deal, knocking the football out, causing a fumble, and then they take it to the house. Dude, it was exciting at the end. It was very exciting at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Cardinals have been garbage for the last 7.5, I would say like 6.5 quarters. They have just been absolutely fucking terrible to me. And if the Broncos would have lost, I would be putting them way further down in my rankings. Same with the Cardinals. In both of these teams, like, they've got the win, but it was like by the hairs of their chin. But you know what? A win is a win, and a loss is a loss. Man, they are so lucky, and I just don't know what is worse. Again, like, are the Raiders terrible for letting the Cardinals come back? Or I don't think the Cardinals are good, man. I don't, and I've been saying this. They have been struggling. And I think they're missing D-Hop, man.
I think that's it, man. You can tell that the offense is different because Marquise Brown isn't the same player as DeAndre Hopkins, and you can tell that they miss him a lot on the offense because they can't even get the running game going because they can't get the passing game going. You need both in conjunction to like help the other.
Yeah,
but
he's not a one. He is definitely not a one. And if it wasn't telling, he's a good two. But he's like a slot. He's like a slot receiver, and he's quick. Like, he could go vertical, but he's not D-Hop, man. And Kyler misses his boy. But you know what? They are very lucky that they got this win because if they would have lost, I'm telling you, man, I would have dropped them like so far down in my rankings.
Right.
But they're lucky. So you know what? Good job. You know, sometimes you have to win a game like this to turn your season around. So, you know, maybe they can turn it around. But it was a hard-fought battle for them.
Where are you at with the Raiders now, though? Because they lost to the Chargers. They could have come back and won that. But then they just gave up a 20-point lead. 20-point lead.
Yes.
And then lose it in OT. I mean, Derek Carr looked better. I'll give him that. Josh Jacobs. The offense looked good. But then they couldn't get things going in the fourth quarter. And then the defense just started getting torched. Like, what happened? Did they just forget how to coach? Did they forget how to play?
No, it was definitely like a crumbling of the Raiders. They should have won the game. They were up 20 to 0 at half. I mean, there's still a lot of ball left in that game. But like, if you're a good team, you're not gonna let a team come back like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to drop the Raiders. I mean, you're 0-2 now. They've shown more, even though they lost, they've shown more to me. They've shown positives in both their losses, I'll say. And they played good. They played good quarterback led teams. I'll say that. So I don't know. I mean, they're definitely going to have to lower, at least for me, because they are 0-2, and you can't really climb when you're losing. You could say you're good if you think you're good, but wins prove it, or whatever the freaking saying is. I don't know what the hell I just said, but
it's all good.
It was a hard fought battle for the Cardinals. So kudos to them for pulling out that freaking win.
Yep.
But what do we have next? I think that was okay. Bengals beat or lost to the Cowboys 20-17.
What the fuck?
What
the fuck was this?
I was freaking shocked,
I don't
man.
think
I mean,
anyone. Dallas got blown out. Didn't even score a touchdown. They have their backup quarterback in playing the reigning AFC champions, and they win. They freaking
dude, he out-threw Joe Burrow, Cooper Rush.
I know.
235 yards and a touchdown to 199 yards and a touchdown.
Dude,
jeez Louise, man.
It just shows how good Dallas's defense is. I mean, they're literally going to carry this team.
I mean, they got 6 sacks. I mean, that's going to help you. That's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
While the Bengals only got 1. They got 1 sack.
I don't know how that's possible though, because
maybe,
Dallas's offensive line is not good right now. It's banged up. It's injured. I don't know what's going on with the Bengals, but I did not expect them to start 0-2. To be honest with you, I thought that this was gonna be a
So
game.
I mean, I thought it was too, but I mean, the Dolphins had an elite defense last year, and they had the same personnel. So besides, what's his name? Randy Gregory.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the Broncos now.
He's on the Broncos.
Yeah, besides him, they still pretty much have the same personnel, I believe, right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But Micah Parsons is that dude.
Dude,
he's a beast.
He is a stud. I mean, Micah Parsons officially broke the record for the quickest. I think it was like the quickest to 18 sacks, or however many sacks he had in like a certain amount of games. Like he broke it. I think he got 18 sacks
Good for that, man.
13 games or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Sheesh. Good shit. I mean,
number's wrong, but either way, it was a stat. You guys can look it up. Correct me.
Real quick before we get into the last game. So the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Bengals were all 0-1, and there's a stat that said like there has been no team to go to the playoffs that starts the season 0-2. So that means that the Bengals and the Raiders aren't going to the playoffs. But the Cardinals still have a chance. I don't know, man. What do you think? You think? I mean, I still like the Bengals.
I think they can turn it around.
I don't know though, dude.
I think
the Ravens look legit. I mean, that's a tough division. The Ravens look legit. They're healthy. The Steelers, I guarantee you, they're gonna sneak into playoffs. Like, I don't know how the hell they're gonna do it.
Never had a losing season as a head coach, so
dude,
it's possible.
And the Browns, man, they can definitely sneak into playoffs,
especially after Deshaun Watson comes back. But who knows? I mean, Deshaun Watson may be terrible because of how much time he's had off from actually playing the game. I don't know.
I mean, did you see him in preseason?
Yeah, he looked like poop.
Yeah. And then our last game of Sunday, we will get to the Monday night games on tomorrow's episode, but last game of the week, or last game of Sunday, we got Sunday Night Football. We got the Packers owning the Bears, 27-10.
Aaron Rodgers owns you guys. He owns Chicago.
Yeah, typical. He did what the 49ers should have did last week. I mean, it wasn't in a monsoon, so, good for you, Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, 234 yards passing, 2 touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones just had one of the best games of his life.
Yep. Thank you for helping me in
132 yards
fantasy
rushing.
For nothing, Aaron Jones. I'm still going to lose to Jake, but, you balled out. Made me look not as terrible.
I think the only good thing about the Bears is David Montgomery. 122 yards rushing. And that's it, dude.
I will say the Bears' defense is better than I thought it would be. They can still get after the quarterback. But, once they got the ground game going, Green Bay just ran all over them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much to like about the Chicago Bears. That's why we had them ranked so low to start the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, now they're going back to 32.
Yeah, Justin Fields, for me, he has so much potential, but he's not going to have enough opportunity this year. He doesn't have the weapons around him. He doesn't have the supporting cast to help him improve his play that drastically much, or that much. Excuse me. I don't even know what the hell I just said.
It's typical. It's like a typical case of good talent going to a bad situation. I mean, that's how the draft works. The worst teams get the best picks, usually, and it's just it's sad because Trey Lance goes down, and then you got Justin Fields over here suffering on the Bears. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think of the Bears. They have a good defense, but their offensive weapons besides David Montgomery, like Darnell Mooney, who was supposed to be this, top receiver threat this year, 1 catch for -4 yards. Huh? What are we doing, guys? Like, and then Cole Kmet, he was supposed to be another receiving threat. He got goosed us the last 2 games. 0 catches. 0 catches, 0, I believe 0 targets.
Yeah, Jake, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I saw Cole Kmet drop, 2 passes today? It might have been more than that, or maybe it was less. I don't know. I saw one that hit him right in the hands, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is bad. I mean, it is in Green Bay. Green Bay usually owns Chicago at Lambeau. But, Green Bay's defense looked a lot better this week.
They should.
Yeah, they looked good. There was a certain point in the game, though, where Chicago had an opportunity to make it an actual game, but then they couldn't get past the 1-yard line. And then Green Bay just takes it over and then just rushes it down their throat. So There's not too much to take away from this. I mean, Green Bay is just the much better team. We'll see if they can do this against a better opponent, because so far they had a week where they looked like poop, and then they've had a week where they look great. But yeah, Aaron Jones looked great. A.J. Dillon had a couple good runs as well. Allen Lazard caught a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, Christian Watson didn't do much. Romeo Doubs didn't really do anything. Yeah, man.
Their biggest receiving threat was Sammy Watkins with 93 yards.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins.
Dude, Sammy Watkins? Jeez, yeah. Wait, we're talking about Allen Lazard's supposed to be their number 1, right?
I believe so. I mean, he was working in because he was limited in practice. I think he was kind of on limited reps, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely positive.
Okay. Over under 25 yards receiving. Yeah. Two for 13. Dude, Christian Watson, 3 for 9. Oh my. Okay, so, the Packers are playing the Bucks next week. That's going to be an interesting matchup for both teams because both teams have, well, I know for a fact the Bucks have an elite defense. The Packers, we will see. And it's going to be, if they do have an elite defense, that is going to be a boring ass game. That is going to be a boring ass game because it's just going to be rushing and, probably a first down here and there and then punt and then maybe an occasional field goal. That is going to be a boring ass Sunday night game. Jeez Louise. Yeah. And this is probably the last time we'll see Rodgers versus Brady. So enjoy it, folks. But thank you, Dane, for doing this with me and letting the people hear us, all 5 of you. We were at 12, but now that we're moved to strictly football, it's only at 5. So thank you for the 5 of you that listen to us, real fans. Erica, happy birthday. Hope you enjoy Disneyland tomorrow, Dane. Hell yeah, boy. Get some clam chowder. Mm. All right. Any last words, Dane? Yep. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Help us out. Help you boys out, boy. And as always, peace. We'll be here. So it looks like this is the schedule. We're trying to figure it out. It looks like we're going to be dropping episodes Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So I don't know. Is it too much? Are they too long? Let us know. Help us out. Tell us how we can improve. But as always, thank you for listening and peace.